questions about that?
No, that makes a lot more sense in the YouTube video I watched.
Maybe I should do a video. The next thing I want to talk about is how we bond this spacer in between. Okay, so I mentioned low E is kind of a rough, you know, it's a particles that are adhered to the inside of the glass. Well, what a lot of manufacturers do, a lot of Pella's competitors do, is they actually adhere the spacer using an adhesive on top of that low E. So think about it like sandpaper. If you were to take tape and adhere tape to a top of, let's just go with 120 grit sandpaper, right? And, you know, it's pretty fine. You'd be able to pull that off fairly easily, right? Because of the grains in there. Well, it's the same thing with the adhesion of the spacer with low E. If you mount it on top of the low E, you don't get that strongest adhesion to the glass in the spacer, right? Remember that bathroom we were upstairs and you mentioned that the glass was all hazed and you couldn't get it clean?
Yeah.
What happened there is that seal actually broke down. And the reason it broke down is because they didn't do something called a low E edge delete, which is something that Pella does on the 350 series product. They actually take an extra step, and it's manufacturing time. They remove the low E around the edge and then bond the spacer to the area that does not have low E. So it'd be like bonding tape to a nice smooth surface compared to bonding it to sandpaper. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was wondering why that happened.
So Pella actually warranties that from happening again. So for a period of 20 years, they warranty the seal failure in the glass. It's the longest seal failure warranty in the industry.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's fully transferable. Doesn't have to stay with you if you were to rent the house. It's fully transferable. So, any questions so far?
Yeah.
The last thing I want to mention on, actually second to last thing I want to mention on energy efficiency. You'll notice all of these, we call this mohair, which is the hairy weather seal here. Now see how that's got a flap in there, a vinyl flap right there? What do you think that's for?
No idea.
It's actually to keep it, if you think about a hairy substance like this where it kind of lays down, after years and years of opening and closing, this will actually force its way to stay down, right? After years and years. So Pella actually puts this vinyl flap in here to keep it upright, keep it at its true form, its original form. So that's an extra step, you know. It's really about looking at the kind of every nook and cranny of a window. That's what makes the difference. That's one of those difference makers, along with the low E edge that I talked about. This is actually a automotive style. Go ahead and feel that. That's an automotive style weather strip. Think about the weather strip around the car doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
On new cars. You have a pretty new car.
Oh, yeah.
So compared to a car 20 years ago, you know, even when they're new, you don't get that windows anymore. It's because of the type of gas that they now use. So Pella actually purchases this from the automotive industry and uses it on the bottom of the sash of this 350 window, so it sits down in here in this channel.
So that helps with noise too.
Absolutely. And the last one is a piece of vinyl strip that sits on the inside. It actually parks itself right here, and that's kind of a three-prong attack, right? First, second, third. And if you were to count all the different types of weather strip on here, there's 4 different types and 16 different pieces throughout the sash. Everywhere you look, there's weather strip. And it's designed not to break down with that added vinyl flap. So you can see they've gone the extra mile, and that's one of the reasons this window performs so well. Any questions so far?
Yeah.
Am I going too fast?
No, I like it.
I go ahead and put this back.
I never knew there's so much involved in windows.
That's what I'm here for. So you mentioned aesthetics. It's also really important on top of energy efficiency. Right?
Yeah, it's close up there because we really enjoy that kind of craftsman look, and that's what we want to get back to from the house. So.
And that's another reason I chose the 350 series product by Pella for you, because it's got a very unique, exclusive, patented feature, and we call that smooth seam corners. Okay, so if you look right here, now you've looked at other vinyl windows. What did you notice on the inside, right here in that corner?
It looked like it was squeezed together.
It's got a weld right there. So this actually has a corner weld as well, but Pella takes the time to actually smooth out that corner weld, and so it's designed to make it look like a real wood window. To even go so far as to add these, we call these simulated divided lights, and that actually makes it look like a real wood window too.
I'm gonna be honest, that was the one thing about vinyl windows that I was afraid of. That it was gonna look a little plasticky and, you know, that kind of quality.
I get that a lot, and that's the reason why this product is my #1 seller, is because of that. You get everything, energy efficiency, but you also get the aesthetics, and it's affordable. I'm gonna show you that in a little bit. So the last thing I wanna mention as far as aesthetics go, is the satin nickel work. You asked me as we were walking around, you know, one of the things you mentioned you didn't like about your current windows, they're so plain, you know, aluminum, and everything's the same color. You also mentioned, I noticed, that you had just replaced all your hardware. I was asking you about most recent projects. You said you replaced all of your interior door hardware, and I noticed they're satin nickel. So I went ahead and included that in this product because Pella offers that. So this will actually match your interior doors.
It's great. It was our last project, and we really like that nice clean satin look on our doors.
Cool. Any questions so far?
No.
Last thing I want to mention. This screen. Just going back to energy efficiency real quick. Pella has gone so far with the energy efficiency, they thought, you know, why put a normal screen on here when we can go the extra mile? So they actually went ahead. How many times have you opened your doors and seen like a cake of dust right there? Your windows, excuse me.
Well, every time.
So that's what this is for. They actually put like a broom edge on the bottom of the screen to keep dust from getting in there.
That's crazy.
Take a guess on what else that helps with.
Bugs.
Bugs. There's one more thing. Think about during a storm. And with the wind howling. You get a lot of whistle noises.
Yeah.
Most of that comes from your windows. That helps slow that down. Keep that.
Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't know the screen plays a part.
Just leave that right there for now. So that's essentially what I wanted to show you on this product. How do you feel? Have we covered everything that we talked about around the home?
I'm pretty, I mean, I've obviously done a little bit of research online and seen a couple of vinyl windows before, but this one seems pretty cool. I'm interested to see what it's all gonna come out to.
If we can make this affordable to you, is there any reason you wouldn't want to move forward with this product today?
No, absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, let me work up a quote. I'm going to hand you this 350 series brochure to review. It'll just take me a few minutes to work up a quote. And so go ahead and review that, and I'll be right back with you.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.